opened the door. In her hand was a large book, but she was no doubt reading to kill time. The library was quite crowded at this time. There were about 10 four-person tables, and each of them was occupied by a PhD students working. There were probably people who lingered reading for leisure, but what I'd also understood there were people killing time while waiting for the rain to stop. I then noticed one of the boys looking up the books. I recognized the response since it's Fukuda Satoshi wrote paper. Satoshi met my gaze and stood up with his usual smile. Hey, Kotaro! Didn't expect to see you here. Ibara looked at us with a sour face and said, Still good buddies as ever, aren't you?
Hello, people. Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday. Um, it's Tuesday, January. So yeah, we are gonna to complete homework of Harvard assignments. So please stay with me until the end in order to learn the seventh week. Yeah. So what do we have to do today? Today we have to complete one of the homeworks of problem set 7. Let me let me push let me push resume in the Pomodoro technique. Okay. So what do we have to do? Let me okay. So we have to complete working no watch on YouTube. Watch on YouTube is next the next assignment that we have to do. So it turns out that most YouTube videos can be. Let me. How do you do this? Google Translate. I'm sorry, but I don't know how you can pronounce embedded. So let me check it out.
Embedded. Embedded.
Embedded. So uh, I'm sorry. So it turns out the most YouTube videos can be embedded in other websites, just like the above, just like this. For instance, if you visit this link on a laptop or desktop, click share and then click embed, you'll see HTML, the language in which web pages are written, like the below. This, which you could then copy into your own website's source code, where iframe is an HTML element and src is one of several HTML attributes therein, the value of which between quotes is HTTPS. Okay, so this is the value of the link, right? This is the iframe, that is the HTML code that that if you go click in this. Okay, so if you go click in this link, this page, and you go to, you put click share embedded, so you are gonna to to receive uh, the this HTML code. Okay, because some HTML attributes are optional, you could instead minimally embed just the below. So this is the simplified code, I think. Suppose that you like to extract the URLs of YouTube videos that are embedded in pages. okay, converting them back to shorter, shareable YouTube.b URLs like this. Okay, so we have to convert this and this. Okay, where they can be watched on YouTube itself. In a file called watch.py, implement a function called parse that expects a str of HTML as input, extracts any YouTube URL that's the value of a src attribute of an in-frame element therein, and returns its shorter, shareable YouTube.b equivalent as a str element. Expect that any such URL will be in one of the formats below. Assume that the value of src will be surrounded by double quotes, and assume that input will contain no more than one such URL. If the input does not contain any such URL at all, return none. Okay, so uh, okay, structure watch.py as follows, where you're welcome to modify main and or implement other functions as you see fit, but you may not import any other libraries. You're welcome but not required to use read and or sys. Okay, so that is how to have to work. How it does to work. Okay, how it has to work is this. If you put this watch pi and you put the frame, you receive the link. Okay, Python watch.py HTML and you receive the frame. Python-py HTML, you receive the frame. Okay, I think I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. I think I got it. But I would like to watch kind of shorts because I think I would like to I would like to remember shorts about this. So I'm gonna go to uh, regular expressions. I'm gonna go to regular expressions. I gotta go to patterns, and then I'm gonna go to click on this video.
Well, hello one and all, and welcome to our short on patterns. We'll look at how we can use regular expressions to create some pattern we expect in some data we might have. Now, we've seen how to do this with emails, but one other kind of data we might be able to validate using a pattern is something called a hexadecimal color code. So it turns out that colors, like this shade over here, have to them a certain assigned hexadecimal color code, a way of representing this color, but in a computer's memory. So this particular color has this particular code, the hash symbol 0076BA. This corresponds to this particular shade of blue. It turns out there's a pattern to this pattern you see over here. In fact, they always will begin with this hash symbol, and they'll be followed by 6 characters, which range from 0 to 9, or A to F, upper or lowercase. And it turns out there's also a bit of a structure to them too. The very first 2 characters after, let's say, the hash symbol, well, that defines how much red is in this color on a scale of 00 to FF, the highest. There's also this second set of 2 characters, in this case 76, which corresponds to the amount of green in the color. And then the final 2, in this case BA, correspond to the amount of blue that's in this particular color here. Again, each of these 2 sets of characters ranging from 00, the lowest, meaning no red, no blue, no green, or the highest being FF, meaning all the red, all the green, all the blue, for instance. Now let's look at a few other examples here. So here, as I said, this is entirely red. The reddest red you can get. It is hash symbol FF0000, entirely red with no other colors involved. This here is green, 00, FF00, and this, let's say, is blue. The bluest blue you can get, at least on the web, using these particular color codes, 0000FF. Now, we can combine these colors too and get both black and white. So black, let's say, or actually white, white being the, all the colors combined is FF, 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 and black being the absence of color, well, that will be 000000. So this was our brief intro to these hexadecimal color codes. Let's go and see how we can create a pattern to validate codes like these. So I have over here a program called code.py, and the goal again is to validate hexadecimal color codes I might enter into this program. So up top, I've imported this module called RE, which stands for regular expressions. Allow me to use regular expressions in my code here. I then have a function called main, which asks the user for some input. It specifically asks them to enter a hexadecimal color code, and I store that result, what the user typed in this variable named code. But let's see how we could try to validate the input the user gives us using some kind of pattern. Well, the first thing you do might be to define the pattern we're looking for in this user's given code to say this is a valid hexadecimal color code. So I could maybe make for myself here a variable called pattern. And because this pattern is a regular expression, I'll want to prefix it with this R character here, which means I'm going to create a raw string. Typical escape characters like \n, for instance, won't be interpreted as \n, the new line character. They'll instead literally be interpreted as / and then n. So this helps us here with regular expressions and the special syntax that those expressions. Pattern is a regular. This is a valid hexadecimal color code. So I could maybe make for myself here a variable called pattern. And because this pattern is a regular expression, I'll want to prefix it with this R character here, which means I'm going to create a raw string. Typical escape characters like \n, for instance, won't be interpreted as \n, the new line character. They'll instead literally be interpreted as / and then n. So this helps us here with regular expressions and the special syntax that those expressions have. I'll leave this blank here. Let's continue on. Let's say I want to search this particular code the user has given me for this pattern. Well, thankfully, the RE module comes with a function called search, and I can access it using re.search. Now, the first argument to search is the pattern I might expect to find in the text that I am given, let's say, from the user here. So I'll type pattern as the first argument to search. I'll then type, in this case, the string I want to search for this pattern within. So I'll type code here, just like this. And it turns out that re.search returns to me something called a match object, which I'll store conveniently in a variable called match. Now, this only happens if search actually finds the pattern I'm looking for in the given input. So let's go ahead and maybe check this out. I'll say if match, that is, if I actually find a match, well, I'll print something like this. I'll print valid. And just to be sure here, I might also try to have this match object show me what exactly it matched in this given input to search through. So I could get access to that saying maybe matched with, and then I can use match.group, this function here that will show me exactly what search found as a match given this pattern. So we'll see that in action in a little bit. Now, otherwise, if we didn't find a match, I might print something a little more simple, just like this, invalid. So this is our program, and a lot of it hinges on setting up this pattern to behave as we might expect. Well, this pattern, as we said before, will be a regular expression. And one thing we can maybe start with is the very easiest
So if I think I understand, yes, so match is equal re.search So pattern is the pattern that we are gonna to search in code. Code is the input that the user is gonna put in match. What is match? It has to be a boolean value, because match just has to be a boolean value. If we can put match like a conditional, if match, so match can be can be true, or can be false. So okay, so print if match is true, print if double quote valid match with, and match that group. I don't understand what does mean this match group, because match, I thought that match, it was gonna be it was gonna be value, but I thought match, it was a value, but match group, I don't understand what group. Okay.
Part of these hexadecimal color codes is that they all begin with this hash symbol. In fact, if we go back to some of these slides here, we'll see that these will be our rules for what to look for. It should begin with this hash symbol and be composed of 6 characters after the hash symbol, 0 through 9 and A through F, upper or lowercase. So let's begin with just this first part here. It should begin with this hash symbol. So if I go back now to my code, I could type simply this hash symbol. And this is my very simple pattern. re.search will look through the entirety of the code the user has entered, and if it finds this hash symbol anywhere in that code, it will return to me a match object and say, yes, I did find a match for this particular pattern inside the user's input. So let's try it. I'll run Python of code.py, and I'll type in, let's do a valid one. Let's say hashtag A. Don't quite know what color that is, but probably some shade of gray, given we have all the various red, green, and blues aligning in the same level here. I'll hit enter, and I'll see valid, and also matched with this hash symbol. So it seems like the reason we said this code was valid is that re.search found that hash symbol inside of this text here. But of course, I can do something like this. I could say python code.py, hashtag, let's do G, let's do I, and K. Like, this is not a valid hexadecimal color code, but according to our pattern, it is, because it sees, in this case, that hash symbol. So we need to improve this. And we can do so by using other features of regular expressions. One of them is going to be called a character set. And a character set begins with these square brackets here, one opening and one closing. Now within these square brackets, I could include all the characters that I could possibly match after, let's say, this hash symbol. So if we go back to our slides again, we said that it should begin with a hash symbol, which we already have in our pattern. But then we expect 6 characters in the range of 0 through 9 and A through F, upper or lowercase. So let's begin, let's say, with these actual letters here. I'll go A, B, C, D, E, F to say we could match any of these individually, either lowercase a, lowercase b, C, D, E, F. We also want to take in the capital A, B, C, D, E, F, and then anything between 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8, 9. So this is our character set. After we find, let's say, the hash symbol, we should expect to find any character in this set. So let's try this out. I'll go ahead and run Python of code.kk, just random letters I made up. re.search is looking for a hashtag, which it finds, of course, character set. And it seems like we don't find that here. We have hashtag G, which is not in this I. And let's go ahead and do the valid color. And we'll see that this is with hashtag A and then G. So our problem here seems to be that we're expecting the right range of characters for the first character we see after the hash, but not for all of the 6 after, let's say, we have this hash symbol here. So how could we fix that? Well, we can use what's called a quantifier. and I can access a quantifier using these curly braces here. So this ensures whatever number I put in here, like 6, this means that for this particular character set, whatever character or character set precedes this quantifier, I should expect that number of them, in this case exactly. So I'll expect 6 of these particular characters inside of this set here. Let's try this out. I'll get a Python of code.py, and then I'll demonstrate now that hashtag A, G, 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 this is not going to work for us. I'll hit enter. I'll see that is invalid. Let's try this one now. Python of code.py. I'll do hashtag A, and that seems to be valid. Now for the right reason. We matched with the entire thing. All of these, in this case, fall into this range of valid characters. But I think there's still one more thing to go and improve here. Let's try this. I'll do python of code.py. Let's get a little bit tricky. I'll do hashtag AA, and then something like, why don't we just do a 0 at the end. Now this is not a valid color code. This is more than 7 characters. I'll hit enter here, and it's still valid. Now, this might be confusing, because I did say earlier that this quantifier here ensures that we get exactly 6 of the characters in this character set. And, well, it seems like we've done that. Like I have here in this code, hashtag, hash symbol here, and then A, that's certainly 6 of them. And so I seem to have found a match inside of this longer string. And it's a little more clear. I could even do this. Python of code.py. The code is hash symbol A. Well, this is valid, even though I typed in the code is, which I don't want to include in a valid hexadecimal color code. So one thing I can use here is called an anchor. If I want to say that my pattern should start at the beginning of the string, I can do so by adding a caret here. So this will say that when I search for this pattern, this hash symbol must be the very first character that I see in the input text. So this would no longer be valid under this caret symbol here, this anchor. Let me try it again. I'll do python of code.py. I'll say the code is hash symbol A, hit enter. That now is invalid because our very first character in this input is not the hash symbol. Now similarly, we can do an anchor at the end, which looks like a $sign, and that means that the last characters we expect should be these 6 in this range here. So this will exclude things like the hash symbol AA0, because that is more than, in this case, 6. The last character we're matching is not within the 6 we expect here. So I'll run python of code.py, and I'll type in hash symbol AA0, and that, of course, is invalid as well. So I think this pattern works pretty well for us, but there is one way to improve how we write it. I could, instead of typing all this out, use a range. I can say, conveniently, A-F to insinuate or to imply I want A, B, C, D, E, and F as valid characters. I could do the same thing for capital A to capital F, just like this, capital A dash capital F. That will give me capital A, B, C, D, E, F. And again, same thing for 0 through 9. I could do hashtag here, giving me 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, all inclusive. So this, I believe, should do the same thing for us. I'll type python of code.py, type in hash symbol AA, and this seems to be a valid color code. So we've seen here how to use these things called regular expressions and the patterns that actually implement them to validate things that have a pattern to them. These are useful beyond just these. Anything has a pattern to it, you can probably try to validate using these things called patterns and regular expressions. This then was our short on patterns, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to problem set 7. Yes, I have to go just regular expressions. Regular expressions is kind of confused for me actually, because I don't understand what happened with um, the syntax of the patterns. I don't get it yet, so I would like to assimilize this pattern. I would like to. I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying this. Don't don't fool me, but I think I have to. I have to. I have to a long road to walk still.
Capture groups. Now, well, hello one and all, and welcome to our short on capture groups. Now, those of you who have made international calls might be familiar with what's called a country calling code. And I have here 3 of them up above in a dictionary called locations. I have one, +1, which often involves numbers from the United States and Canada. I have one +62, which often involves numbers from Indonesia, and one +505 that involves numbers from Nicaragua. And I have down below here in main a program that in this case validates phone numbers internationally. So I have here a pattern that I'm going to look for within each of these phone numbers I might enter into my program down below on line 7. In this case, notice what I'm expecting. I'm expecting the literal actual character plus here. I've escaped it with this backslash because plus has other meanings within regular expressions. I'm now expecting any kind of number, in this case, 0 through 9, between 1 and 3 times. So notice here, the country code for the US and Canada, that's +1, so only one number here. For Indonesia, it's 2, 62, and for Nicaragua, it's 3, 505. So between, in this case, 1 and 3 numbers following some plus. Thereafter, there will hopefully be a space for this particular valid number, and then there will be exactly 3 numbers, a dash, again exactly 3 numbers, followed by a dash again, and then exactly 4 numbers. So this is the pattern we are looking for, and down below on lines 9 through 13, well, this is the code doing that work for us. We've stored within number the user's phone number that they have entered, and we're going to check using re.search if we found a match for our pattern within the number string. If we do have a match, it's returned to us, we'll print valid. If we don't, we'll print invalid. Let me go ahead down below here. Let me type main to ensure I call main when I run this program. And I'll go ahead and run python of groups.py. And if I hit enter now, I should be able to enter a number. Well, I'll test one here, +1, and I'll type in 617495100. I'll hit enter here, and we'll see that that is valid. Maybe I'll try it too for Indonesia. I'll do +62, and I'll enter in my phone number again, and I'll hit enter, and we'll see that's valid as well. And just for good measure, I'll test Nicaragua. I'll do +505, and I'll type in this number, and we'll see that is valid as well. So it seems like our pattern is working, but there's more we could do with this program, I think, thanks to this feature called a capture group. Well, maybe what I want to do is not just share if it is valid as well. So it seems like our pattern is working, but there's more we could do with this program, I think, thanks to this feature called a capture group. Well, maybe what I want to do is not just share if this number is valid or invalid, but maybe tell somebody from what country, in this case, this number is calling from. You could think of your phone. When it receives some call from an unknown number, it might at least tell you the location or the area that number is calling from. What if we write the same thing here, where people call us internationally and we show the user, in this case, what country they are calling from? Well, in this case, we don't want to just test to see if we find the pattern within our phone numbers here. We also want to extract some portion of it. In this case, the very first portion, the country calling code, plus 505 for Nicaragua, plus 62 for Indonesia, or plus 1 for the US and Canada. But we run into a problem here if we were to use maybe simple string manipulation. If I entered in some number and was trying to extract, in this case, the country calling code, well, I wouldn't immediately know whether I should extract, in this case, the first 2 characters, plus 1, the first 3 characters, plus 62, or, in this case, the first 4 characters, plus 505. But thankfully, I'd actually use regular expressions and capture groups to dynamically capture the portion of the content I'm looking for.
This is the Python CS50 comparison.
Now, the way I can make a capture group is by using parentheses inside of a regular expression. So really, I want to capture or extract, in this case, the country calling code, which we said the pattern exists for right here, a literal plus sign followed by 1 to 3 numbers. Now I can encase this inside of parentheses, and this becomes my own capture group. But how could I maybe find the information I capture? Well, if I find a match here, turns out that this match object in Python comes with another one called group. If I were to do let me do a match.group, well, this would help me find all of the capture groups I've actually implemented in my regular expression and extract them from this match. Because let's say this is the first capture group we have, I could go ahead and type 1 here. Capture groups, at least in Python, in this particular case, are 1 indexed. So I'm saying here, if there is a match, go ahead and give me, in this case, the result that I found within the first capture group. I'll go ahead and store this in a variable called country code, and I could, instead of printing valid here, maybe I'll go ahead and print something like country code and see what we can find. I'll go ahead and run Python of groups.py, and I'll go ahead and do +1 followed by my phone number, hit enter, and now we'll see +1. So it seems like we extracted, in this case, the portion of our content that matched the pattern within these parentheses. I'll try it with another one here. I'll do Python of groups.py +62, and we'll see +62. So it is dynamic. It's not looking for the first 2 characters all the time, or the first 3 characters all the time. It's looking for this pattern, and when it finds it, is returning it to us as appropriate. Now, what else could we do with this? Well, country code literally is a string here. So if I wanted to, in this case, find the country somebody is calling from based on their country calling code, well, I could perhaps use country code as the key for this dictionary here. I could type locations, bracket, country code, and because each of these country calling codes is a key in my dictionary, I should hopefully find, in this case, the actual location they are calling from. Let's try this out. I'll run Python of groups.py, and I'll now type, let's do +1 again, followed by the number, hit enter, and now we'll see United States and Canada. I could do this again. I could try, let's say, a +62, and number again, Indonesia. I'll now try +505, and I'll see Nicaragua. So the capture group here is doing the work of finding the portion of our content that matches some pattern we were looking for. Well, I think we've really seen a lot of what this can do for us, but there is one more feature to take a look at. Here, notice how on line 11, I am really using indexes, to find the capture group I'm looking for. But a more complex regular expression might involve more than one capture group. It could involve up to, I don't know, more than one. Could 2, 3, 4, could it get up to 10? However many it is, it can be helpful to have a better way to refer to these capture groups. So if this capture group has some particular meaning to it, I could actually give it a name to refer to later on within the regular expression. And the way I do this is with the following syntax. Within my capture group, after the first parenthesis, I can type question mark, P, and then open bracket, close bracket, or in this case, less than sign, greater than sign, and then some name for this capture group. I could call this country code, just like this. So now this pattern here and the capture group has a name I can refer to later to extract it with. Down here on line 11, I could, in this case, use 1, but now I could actually make use of country code, the name I gave for this particular capture group, and I could type in country code, just like this, which will say, find for me, in this case, the capture group that I named country code, and use that instead. Well, I'll type Python of groups.py. I'll go ahead and type +1, same number here, and now we'll see United States and Canada seems to work, but is now a little more readable, even some named something that we might later hope to capture in our programs. So this was our brief foray into capture groups, and this was our short. We'll see you next time.
Okay, I gonna to take a break, so stay with me, please.
As expected from the best couple of Kaburaya Junior High. I knew it was pointless to argue back at her, but still I said, "Oh, shut up." Ibarra merely replied flatly, "My, you're quite a crybaby for a gloomy person." A crybaby, huh? She then turned towards Satoshi with a composed expression. "Fuku-chan, you know how my feelings are, so you should know I was joking, right?" Don't worry about that, Mayaka. No offense taken." "What? You're just gonna let her use joking as an excuse to let her off the hook again?" Satoshi glared at me and then turned his gaze away. I smiled bitterly, as I knew Ibarra has been pursuing him for some time. I have no idea when she started doing so, though Satoshi has been dodging her advances ever since. Satoshi pretended to cough in an attempt to change the subject. "Anyway, what business does the Classics Club have in the library?" "Ah, yes. I didn't come to the library just to see Ibarra." I urged Chitanda to say something. As though suffering from stage fright, Our Lady said nervously to Ibarra, Hi there. May I inquire something of you?" "Sure. How may I help you?" "I'd like to ask if there are any essay anthologies here in the library." "Yup, they're at those shelves right over there." "Do they have those for the Classics Club?" Ibarra tilted her head and wondered. "The Classics Club? I'm sorry, I don't think I'm sure of that. Should I look for them for you?" Just as Chitanda was about to express her gratitude, Satoshi stopped her. "You won't find any. I've occasionally looked up on the shelves, so I should know. Mayaka, where else could they be found if they're not on the shelves?" If they're not on the open shelves, then they must be in the archives." "The archives, huh?" Satoshi thought for a while before asking, "Chitanda-san, why are you looking for essay anthologies anyway?" "We're going to publish one for the cultural festival, so we were wondering if we can have a look at the back issues for reference." "Oh, so they're for the Kanya festival, huh? Didn't know you were knowledgeable on such stuff, Hotaro." "Knowledgeable? Rather, I was obliged to work on it. Besides, Chitanda probably doesn't even need me to be knowledgeable." "Wait, What festival again? Satoshi, what did you just call the cultural festival? The Kanya Festival. Haven't you heard of it before? It's the nickname for the Kami High Cultural Festival. A nickname, huh? Something like the Sofia Festival for Sofia University, or the Mita Festival for Keio University. Then again, like the story about the 4 exponential clans, I find it hard to believe. Sounds suspicious. Is that true? Of course it's true, though it's an unofficial nickname. I heard all my seniors in the handicraft club call it the Kanya Festival. Is it the same in the Manga Studies Club, Mayaka? So Ibara's in the Manga Studies Club, huh? While it does suit her image, it feels unbecoming of her. Yup, everyone there calls it the Kanya Festival. Even the festival committee calls it that. Kanya? How do you spell that in kanji? Satoshi placed his hand on his chin and said, Don't know. Everybody just calls it that. It seems like it's true that Kanya Festival is a nickname. However, I just couldn't think of any word that matches with the spelling of Kanya. Oh well, seeking out the etymology of such a silly name is probably a profession in itself. As I was thinking of that, Satoshi added, Perhaps it's abbreviated from Kamiyama, turning it into Kanyama, and in turn evolving into Kanya. As expected for an expert of trivial knowledge. As we were going off topic, Ibara firmly pulled us back. Anyhow, anthologies, is it? We'll probably find them if we look up the archives, though the head librarian's in the meeting right now, so we can't go in without her permission. She'll probably be back in half an hour. You wanna wait? Half an hour, huh? Not even Chitana was in a hurry to want to see them at once, so she looked at me and whispered, What do we do now? I was fine with whatever decision, but I noticed it's still raining heavily outside. The weather report did say the rain will stop sometime in the afternoon and we'd have a starry night tonight, but as the rain showed no signs of stopping right now, we had no choice but to wait. Guess we'll wait. Even though you could go back? I decided to return to my paperback novel and resume at the page where I was reading. Satoshi tugged at Ibara's sleeve and said, Mayaka, why don't you tell Hotaro about the story you were telling me earlier? Ibara lifted her eyebrows and thought for a while before nodding. Okay. Oreki, do you ever feel like exercising your brain once in a while? Nope. But neither has Ibara. What story are you talking about? Satoshi answered Chitanda's question with his usual smile on his face. The one about the popular book which no one ever reads. As you know, my shift is every Friday after school, and I've discovered lately that the same book has been returned during this time every week. This is the 5th week in a row now. Don't you find it strange? Ibara began to speak while I was busy looking for a desk where I could sit down and read my book. Unfortunately, there just weren't any available seats in such a crowded place, so I had no choice but to sit on top of the table that Satoshi occupied. As the table was close to the counter, we could hear Chitana and Ibara's voice from here. Is it a popular book? Does this look like one? Ibara showed us the thick book she was holding. Oh, such a beautiful book. Chitana gasped in awe and then turned her gaze towards me. Our lady's delighted expression was as though I'd just bought a splendidly bound book for her. The book was bound in a leather cover decorated with finely detailed patterns. Its darkish blue color emitted an aura of solemnity about it. The title of the book was Kamiyama High School, Walking Together for 50 Years. Besides being thick, it was also quite a large book in its length and width. May I have a look inside? Sure. Upon taking out my paperback novel from my shoulder bag, I started searching for the page where I last read. Yet my vision of the novel was quickly replaced by that of high-quality pages. It was Chitanda, who upon opening the aforementioned book, Kamiyama High School Walking Together for 50 Years, placed it on top of my novel in order to show it to me. While I wasn't exactly interested, I didn't ignore it either, and had a quick look at its contents. It's got nothing else on it besides a description of the school's history and goes as such. School Archery Club in the Prefectural Newcomers Tournament. July 1st, cancellation of first year field trip due to typhoon. October 10th, 14th, Cultural Festival. October 30th, Sports Festival. November 16th, 19th, second year field trip, Sasebo, Nagasaki. January 23rd, 24th, first year skiing course. February 2nd, memorial service for first year student Oide Naoto, who died in a car accident. It was full of such details. It would take a particular set of skills to actually read through all that. I wouldn't go so far as to borrow the book once a week in order to read it all, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone actually did that just for its contents. Hotaro, you were just thinking, I wouldn't be surprised if someone actually borrowed that once a week, weren't you? Stop reading my mind, you dumb telepath. Seeing as that I didn't rebuke her, Ibarra puffed her particularly small chest and said, It's not that simple. You rarely come here to borrow books, so you wouldn't know. Listen carefully. The longest period one can borrow a book is 2 weeks. So there is no need for someone to borrow a book and return it just a week later. And yet this book was returned here every week. I see. There is indeed a strange occurrence. Is there any way to find out who has borrowed that book? Of course, there's a list detailing the borrowing records behind the cover. Have a look. Chitanda promptly turned to the cover and saw the list. Huh? She gasped. What's wrong? The list contained the names of the borrowers as well as the dates that they had borrowed the book. We could indeed tell that they had borrowed the book once every week. But that was not the reason, Chitanda had gasped, as her fingers pointed out the list of names to me. The borrower this week was Machida Kyoko of Class 2D. Last week, it was Sawakiguchi Misaki of Class 2F. 2 weeks ago, Yamaguchi Ryoko, Class 2E. 3 weeks ago, Shima Saori, Class 2E. And 4 weeks ago, Suzuki Yoshie, Class 2D. In other words, it's borrowed by a different person every week? That's not all. Chitanda showed me the dates. As I looked carefully, the latest date was today, and the previous borrowed date was exactly 7 days ago. The book was lent out on Fridays. Exactly. The book was borrowed and returned on the same day. This Machida Kyoko borrowed the book earlier today, only to return it later. It's the same for the other borrowers for 5 consecutive weeks. We can also tell the times that they had borrowed the book. It was always during lunchtime on a Friday. To borrow a book during lunchtime and then return it after school, where would they even find the time to read it? So, you curious? Upon returning the book to Ibarra, Chitanda nodded her head gently. Yes, I'm very curious. She spoke in a firmer tone than usual. Much like last time, her pupils looked as though they had gone larger, revealing a strong interest within them. Why is it? Thanks to Ibarra's mystery, Our Lady's flame of curiosity had been ignited. Satoshi was no use as a water source to douse this fire, as he'd probably play dumb and say, I wouldn't know anything about it. I decided to return to reading my novel. But I was naive, for I never expected despair to be pointed right at me. Once again, Chitanda placed the thick book Kamiyama High School Walking Together for 50 Years on top of my novel and said, So, what do you think, Oreki-san? Me? Rather than his usual gentle smile, Satoshi was now smiling teasingly at me. I instantly realized what had happened. He had succeeded in ensnaring me in his trap. Curse him and his evil plans. Let's think about this together. Shall we, Oreki-san? Why? Why me? While I was fine with Chitanda's vigorous curiosity, and while I might admit that Satoshi may have some positive qualities about him, even if it's as a joke, why should I be obliged to play his games and put up with her? Still, it was true that things have developed to a point where talking my way out of it would have been bothersome. So I had no choice but to reply as such. Yeah, I guess it is interesting. I think about it. Ibara stood beside Satoshi and asked, Fuku-chan, is Oreki actually smart? Not at all. He's usually not reliable, but occasionally he can be up to the task. Why are you getting all cheeky? And so I began to think. For a book to be borrowed and returned on the same day for 5 consecutive weeks by completely different people, the possibility of a coincidence could not be ruled out, but I wasn't going to believe that it was all due to some god of coincidence. Besides, Chitana wouldn't have accepted that as an explanation. Getting her to accept things was more important than the truth. So, throwing out the theory that it was a coincidence was a no-brainer. It was also clear that the book was not borrowed for the purpose of reading it, as there wouldn't be time to read it between it being borrowed during lunchtime and it being returned after lessons. If you think about it, it would have been more logical for one to either take it home to read, or just read the book in the library after school. For the latter case, there would have been no need to borrow the book out of the library at all. Thus, this book was not borrowed for its original intended purpose. So, if the book was not borrowed to be read, then what was it being borrowed for? Chitana answered, It's heavy, so maybe it's used to compress pickled vegetables? Satoshi answered, Maybe it's used as a shield or something? Ibara answered, It's thick, so it's probably used as a pillow. I should never have asked you guys. I decided to switch the focus. Why was the book being borrowed by a different person every week? Besides being a coincidence, which was already ruled out, there were 2 points for consideration. First, the girls don't seem to have anything in common, though it's clear that they were using it during Friday afternoons for some sort of ritual and took turns to borrow it. As to what ritual, maybe fortune-telling? Something like, your lucky item this month is school history. If you borrow it every Friday afternoon and returning on the same day, you shall meet the man of your dreams? Nah, that sounds too silly. That leaves the second point, that the girls do have something in common. A look at their names revealed that they're clearly all girls, but just that alone is not enough to establish a common trait. Within Kamihai, if 5 people were randomly picked, there was a high possibility that they could all be girls, but it was already common for people of the same gender to gather together in a co-ed environment anyway. Their other common trait would be that they're all second years, but their classes are different. Now that I think about it... What is it? Did you think of something? I may have thought of something, but my thoughts were blown apart by Satoshi's interruption. Now, where was I? Anyway, I'll start from where my thoughts first started to connect. There must be a sign or something. For example, maybe they were secretly communicating with each other, where returning the book facing upwards meant yes and facing downwards meant no. What were they communicating for? It's just an example. Anything could do. Chitana began to tilt her head and started thinking. Yes, that's it. You just slowly digest all this. Though the one who rebutted me wasn't Chitanda, it was Ibara. That would be impossible. Look. Ibara pointed to the return box. There were loads of books stocked up inside. I see. There was no way of telling whether that book was returned facing upwards or downwards. The only person who would know which way the book was facing would be the one opening the box, and that would be the librarian on duty. Darn. Any careless ideas would end up as easy prey for Ibara to shoot down. I couldn't think of anything. They might have a spare key to open the box, but I have no way of knowing. Now, if only there was some hint. I looked at the well-decorated bound hardback in Ibara's hands and wondered where I could find any declaration of surrender within the book. This was when Chitana suddenly entered into my vision. She stretched her body over the counter and just stared at the book that Ibara was holding tightly in front of a chest. Eh? Eh? Ibara was dumbstruck at such a reaction. I knew how she felt. What is it, Chitanda? Did you find some hidden symbols on the cover or something? Chitana remained motionless and said, "This book, it seems to have some sort of scent," she muttered. "Really? Ibarra, can I borrow that?" "I don't smell anything." "No, I'm sure of it. The book itself wouldn't have any odor. Perhaps it's the ink or that of the library?" Chitana shook her head at Satoshi's suggestion. Both Ibarra and Satoshi also took turns to smell the book, but couldn't detect any scent, and both raised their eyebrows and tilted their heads in puzzlement. "I can't really tell what the scent was, but it was strong, like paint thinner." "Stop saying something so dangerous." "It was? I couldn't really tell." Neither could I, but I had a feeling that Chitana was right. Our lady had been adamant about it after all, and I never would have thought that she would say it was paint thinner. If we assume that it is, then... I may be getting into something here. But it's bothersome to explain it all. As I was wondering what to do next, Satoshi had already read my thoughts and said, "Hotaro, your face tells me you figured something out." Oreki actually has? Noticing Ibarra turning towards me looking completely skeptical, I nodded and replied honestly, "Sort of. While I'm not entirely sure, Chitanda, do you feel like getting some exercise? I'd like you to go somewhere for me." Chitanda was probably the sort who would dash out at once upon telling her where to go, but Satoshi stopped her with smiling. "Don't be fooled by him, Chitanda-san. You don't want to end up doing errands for Hotaro now, do you? Or you'll end up doing exactly what he wants. So, where is it you were thinking of?" How reprehensible. Satoshi does tend to say too much wherever Ibarra's around. Still, as he wasn't exactly off the mark, I was hardly displeased. It was true that I wouldn't get things done if I don't have someone else to do it for me. Very well, I'll go along as well. As we didn't have any PE lessons due to the rain, I still have some residual energy left inside me. Chitana was bound to come along as I said that. And then... Guess I'll tag along too. I'll be a little shocked if Oreki actually manages to solve this. Fuku-chan, mind filling in my shift for me? Ibarra exited from the counter upon saying that. Satoshi looked dumbfounded as he replied, Okay, and kept silent while walking behind the counter. It's been a while since I've seen him this sad. After being satisfied with the results we obtained, we returned to the library. How did it go? Fuku-chan, Oreki's a bit strange. Of course he is, didn't you know? How did he manage to figure all that out? She seemed troubled as she kept muttering. How come? It's as though she sees me as a victor in a sparkling aura, though I would have not been able to sparkle without some luck. I'm truly surprised by Oreki-san. I am very curious as to what is inside his head. An image of Chitanda doing a lobotomy over my head in the basement of the Gothic mansion during a stormy night came flashing across my mind. Just imagining it gave me the chills. While I wouldn't say it out loud, Chitanda's ability to smell out such a faint scent when no one else could was a bigger mystery for me. If it's Oreki-san, then it could... Then I could what? Please, don't tell me I could be used as the ingredients of some cybernetic organism. Upon swapping places with Ibarra at the counter, Satoshi asked, So, let's hear the explanation. Hotaro, just where did you guys go? Placing my elbows on the counter, I replied, The arts preparation room. The arts room? At the opposite end of the campus? That's why I didn't want to go myself. What did you find here? Just listen. I repeated what I had explained to Chitanda and Ibarra previously. This book was used between the 5th and the 6th periods every Friday, probably over these 2 periods altogether. First, no girl would have any use for such a huge book during lunch break. Reading it is also out of the question. And thus, this book was used during lessons which involves different classes from the same year. My thoughts had previously come to this point before being blown off by Satoshi's interruption. It was the same reason that Chitana remembered my name after seeing me just once. And where was it that she had seen me? It must be either during PE or arts. No matter how you see it, nobody would have much use for a book during PE. Have a look at the book's cover. Something seems to be accumulated on it. Do you notice a nice hue of color? These 5 girls were using the book for the lessons, and they decided to take turns borrowing it every week. Satoshi interrupted and said, "But I don't understand. Why would they do it once a week? I mean, you could borrow up to 2... Stop saying the same stuff as Ibara. You two must really be getting along well to say the same stuff. Satoshi, would you keep a book that you have no intention of reading? It would of course be more efficient to return it to the library instead of lugging it home." I see.
Hi, hello. I came back. I came back. So, just we're gonna start right now. Yeah. So, uh, what do we that? What do we have? We are going to do right now. What do we have to do right now? We have to complete the assignment, and in order to complete the assignment, we are going to go to the to the to this groups. Yeah. We're gonna to go this. Yeah, Prudence said so. So this is the task: import import sys, main, print, parse, input, HTML, def, parse, and then we are gonna to copy this and we're gonna to paste in CSP code, BSC, Visual Studio Code. So I'm gonna to watch you the Visual Studio Code, but first I have to clean the window. Yeah, the Visual Studio Code is this. Yeah, this is Visual Studio Code. Yeah, numbers.py. Numbers.py was the last was the last assignment. I can remember. I can't remember actually. So I'm gonna to go check. Let me watch this. As an overview, we can watch that I define a main, I define a validate function that is a string that receive a string and uh, output a bool value. So this validate function assign uh, a pattern value, a pattern variable, assign a pattern string, a row string. That string has to, well, I remember that it has to complete. I remember that it has to complete kind of features, and then we have to return full match pattern in is not known. So it's true. It's okay, but it's false. It's okay because that we have to match full match. We have to full match this, and this is the pattern. So we're gonna to create this an interpreter. Okay, interpreter. I think I'm gonna to go to use this hello.py. I'm gonna to go I'm gonna to use this. I'm gonna to work on week 7 week 7 we're gonna to create a new file, and this new file is gonna be called it's gonna be called I don't know how it's gonna be called. I can yes, watch. I think it's watch that pie. Watch that pie. Without capital letters, just lower letters. Watch pie. Let me check it out. Hello, bro. Hello, Musu. Uh, hello, Musu. Okay, so uh, we can watch this. Yes, watch pie is structured. So we're gonna do define main parse, and we have to create this conditional um, in order to execute the function. So we're gonna to copy this and paste in this place. Yeah. So play. Yeah. This is the code. This is the code. We are gonna to put Control S in order to save. Just you can watch this point, this white point. I'm gonna to put Control plus S, and you can watch this point it was replaced by an X. It means that uh, the changes were saved. So what do we have to do right now? We have we have to define the main function. The main function is print, parse, input, HTML. We have to do the parse that that receive a string as on a string, yes, and 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 return and string also. Yeah, because we have to print that string. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, so we have to create a pattern, right? Parse. Okay, we have to create a pattern. We have to create a pattern. This pattern, we have to return this pattern in. Okay, I think we're gonna do first. We're gonna to create. We have to create the pattern. No? Create the pattern. So we have to assign the pattern. Assign the variable pattern. We uh, we have. I'm just write it down. The thing that we have to do. We have to assign the pattern, the variable pattern. Then we have to create a variable or call a variable call as variable like the variable s is well, the variable s is the input that we can watch in this. We have to use import sys. So sys, I don't understand. I don't think we are going to use sys. Yeah. Because if the program it doesn't work, so first we have to assign the variable pattern. So we have to call s variable. Yeah, I have to call s variable. The s variable. So what do we have to do this pattern? What do we have to do this program? This program has to input HTML, and then we have the program has to input, right, and then the program has to receive the input, and that input has to sort it down. It has to figure out. It has to find the pattern, the link. Okay, so we have to create the pattern. We have to the pattern, assign the variable pattern. Yes, so like this pattern equals, and right, okay, pattern equals s variable. The call s variable is a string, is the input. We gotta to change this person, like input, no s, yeah, s string link. We're gonna to watch this link, call link variable. No, this is not the link. Let's say you frame, right? You frame. Yeah, it's the HTML frame. HTML code. HTML code. HTML code. Yeah, so parse HTML code. HTML code. So we call this HTML code. Yeah, and then yeah, no, we don't have to assign. We have to call it. So okay, I don't understand. I don't know what I have to do. Okay, if match is important. I think match. I have to watch what the program does do. So the program has to do this. Okay, okay. Yeah. How to test from your program. Ensure program prompts you for the copy paste below. If frame blah blah blah, press enter. Your program should output. Yeah. Notice how the SRC attribute is prefixed with ch. The resulting link is prefixed with p. The resulting link is okay. Run your program enter, so copy paste and if frame the long for press enter. Your program has to put to short. Run your program Python watch.py. Ensure your program prompts you for HTML. Python watch.py. Ensure your program prompts you for HTML. It's below. Should output none. Notice how to SRC3 doesn't print of the way. Okay, we have read this. I have kind of questions about that. Attribute doesn't point to a YouTube link. Okay, you can execute the you can execute the below to check your code using CS50. Okay, yeah, this I do this. I know that, but okay, if you can receive this, can receive this, and the program should still output in that way. Okay, 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 okay. 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 YouTube. YouTube.com and embed 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, got it. Okay, let me use this translate. I have okay. Okay, got it. Got it. Regular expressions. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Regular expressions. So, regular expressions. Yeah. Okay. Okay. HTTP. HTTPS. Okay. I got it. Okay. I got it. Okay. Got it. Okay. So the program is gonna to receive this kind of uh, strings. The program has to find src value, and when find this src value, it's gonna to take this frame, this frame. Yes. Okay. Got it. Okay. 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 As RC. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Just pattern. Okay. 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 So in order to watch this pattern, I think we have to use this code. Okay. Maybe we have to use this code. This code a research pattern group. Let me uh, index. I think it's index. Let me search. Let me looking for it. Okay. Me Control C and then shit 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 shit. Excel. Oh, hello Pi. Lead code. Pi. Okay. So gonna do file. Create a file. I'm sorry. What do we what I'm gonna to do right now? I'm gonna do first. I'm gonna do yes. I'm gonna to create a folder. But no, in week 7 I'm gonna create a folder with the name first numbers numbers numbers. Yeah, yeah, I gotta to put these all numbers. Okay, yeah, and we are gonna create a new file, but no numbers. In week 7, yeah, this is watch, watch, watch. In this watch, gonna to receive this program, move, watch that pie, watch, and then ready. So, watch that pie, and I'm gonna to create another folder. This name is notes. Yes, week notes. Notes. And we I'm gonna to create a notes week 7. Notes week 7. Pa. And ready. These notes are location. Yeah, this is short. Yeah. So so Control S. Yeah, I save this. So I'm gonna to read this, but first I have to import re yeah, yeah. What do we have to do? We have to okay, Control S. Yeah, yeah, Control S. I would like to create a pattern, a number in match research pattern. Okay, number pattern match number S number a pattern and match. So watch pi I have to the pattern I have to create, and the match variable is equal to match variable is equal to re match pattern. We're going to look pattern in S, not in HTML code. Yeah, match. Research. Not rematch, is research. Research pattern HTML code. Okay. So the pattern, blah blah blah, Okay. 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 If match, return. We're going to return match group, HTML blah 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 blah. So this, if the match works, if we find the match, we're gonna to return the match group. The match group is the localized pattern that I can find and extract. So the pattern I am procrastinating the pattern because I don't know how can I create the pattern. But the pattern is gonna be like the pattern is gonna be like pattern. It's gonna be like okay. Pattern R. Okay. No. What did I do? Okay. Okay, I found it. I think I found it. Yeah. And no. Yeah. So SRC equals to single quote. Yeah. Single quote. So one quote. SRC equals single quote, and this gonna be the pattern that it's like a question mark and frame. It's question mark frame. The thing is like at this. Yes. P. Shh. Okay. Yeah, it works. Yeah, the pattern is gonna be HTML link. Gonna be the link, the YouTube link. YouTube link. It's the YouTube link. It's the YouTube link. Yeah. So YouTube link is gonna be like, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Read if else return 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 else sys exit I want to find the regular expression pattern in order to to look to find the value of an SRC of YouTube like this and extract with match group this part. Make a shorter and output look like
I may have heard from an old client, and I may even be started spreading the news to other clients and potential clients, yeah. But I'm not here talking about that. I am here talking about sucking. Sucking. Yeah. I told you all about it. We all can agree that
más compensar
sorry to interrupt. I just want to say
Python partner RCRC HTTPS HTTPS okay
my name is Nick.
YouTube.com
Okay, look, I get it, people. I'm the IT guy and everybody hates me.
YouTube
Call me man, and you just said my name.
link
Get it over.
and to
You guys have 15 parties a week. You can't learn my name.
plus.
None of us have spent a lot of time doing that. And we like the last guy, the geek, because he kept to himself. That was probably not good. You know what? I'm going to leave one other thought. Interesting kids use computers for two things.
Everything until the closing quote.
Thank you so much for that. I saw all your hard drives, and guess what? You're not a photographer, and you definitely can't think of the size 2. There, man, go on Facebook.
Okay.
What are you on Facebook? People want to be your friend, man. All right? And you, this guy,
Okay, we're gonna to check this. Okay, we're gonna to check this. So, okay. Okay. Yes, one line code. Yeah, yes, one line code. Yeah, well, how can you just optimize? Was RSRC HTTPS W is just yeah, punto. Shihotori.
enjoy that chair for now. Pretty soon, you'll be on your feet. Fucking bounce.
W. Why have Why do I have to put this at the beginning? Yes. Let's clear up the step. What it means in regex parentheses have two jobs. Group parts of pattern, capture text, save it as match group. But in your case, you don't want to capture www point. You only want to group it.
Regret our slow response and our lapse in candor or in judgment. At this time, we are issuing
Okay.
a recall of all Sabre GH400 printers.
Group parts of a pattern in capture.
There will be no questions.
Turns in a non-capture group. Is group this without capturing it.
Hey, I appreciate you reading that statement. You look pretty up there.
That's fine. Help you
It changes the behavior of the parentheses. Syntax.
Well, give me a shout. I can write you.
Hey, transfer Holly back from Nashville.
Let me see what I can do.
Look ahead. What do you mean with the verb capture in this context? And what do you mean with the adjective capturing?
La violencia y criminalidad que vive el país le pasa una alta factura al sector exportador. No solo que se enfrentan a robos en las fincas y carreteras, a extorsiones y secuestros, sino también a la cada vez más
Vamos a ver.
contaminación de
We're going to see.
Frente a esta situación, la Federación Ecuatoriana de
It
Exportadores
saves the
señala
exact
que
text
deben
that
destinar
matches
$1
part
millón
of
de
the pattern
dólares
so you
diarios
can
a medidas de seguridad.
later. So capture text is stored in groups.
De la producción, es decir, preservar las instalaciones en donde se produce la cadena de conexión que va desde la finca hasta el puerto y todas las seguridades que debemos tomar mientras el contenedor va viajando para
Capture
poder
group
tener
is
la
a part of
seguridad
the
que
regex
nos rodea. Todo
balance.
eso ha hecho que el sector exportador tenga
Group 1,
que
2, 3.
incursionar en nuevas tecnologías.
Uno de los mecanismos de seguridad en los que más se trabaja, explican, es en la trazabilidad del producto para evitar la contaminación. El sector bananero es el que quizá más dinero destina a este rubro, pues es el único que mueve 5.200 contenedores por semana.
A non-capture group is a pattern without saving the match. Without saving the match. Okay. I got it. Uller. Got it.
El ministro de
Ya,
Producción,
okay.
Jaramillo, explica que hay apoyo internacional para modernizar estos
Ya.
Tener mucho más control sobre toda la cadena de suministro de nuestra exportación.
Pero eso dice Javier Rosero, presidente de Export, no es suficiente.
No es suficiente si es que no lo reforzamos con de acompañamiento de la fuerza pública, pero por sobre todo de la justicia, para que se borre la impunidad. No es posible que tengamos a muchos de los involucrados en problemas de contaminación de carga libres 5, 10, 15 veces.
Alrededor de 2.500 empresas
Okay.
exportadoras del país tuvieron que asignar más recursos para el grupo. Belén Elizalde, Teleamazonas.
La crisis de mineral se agrava tras 2 semanas de protestas reprimidas con violencia, dejando miles de muertos y miles de detenidos.
Tiene que cerrar. No capture any book. Todo esto está. Ya está.
La crisis en Irán sigue escalando y ya provoca una fuerte reacción internacional. Desde hace 2 semanas el país enfrenta protestas masivas que han sido respondidas con una represión violenta por parte del régimen. dejando cientos de muertos y miles de detenidos, según organizaciones de derechos humanos. Ante este escenario, Estados Unidos elevó el tono de sus advertencias. El presidente Donald Trump se refirió directamente a la situación y lanzó un mensaje contundente a las autoridades iraníes, especialmente por las amenazas de ejecuciones contra manifestantes. No queremos que ocurra lo que está pasando en Irán. Si quieren protestar, eso es una cosa, pero cuando empiezan a matar a miles de personas y ahora hablan de ahorcarlos, ya veremos cómo les va. Nada de eso va a terminar bien. Las declaraciones de Trump se producen mientras Washington analiza nuevas acciones. El vicepresidente J.D. Vance presidirá una reunión urgente con funcionarios de inteligencia y seguridad nacional para evaluar el escenario y las opciones frente a Teherán. En las calles iraníes, las protestas ya no se limitan a reclamos económicos. Lo que comenzó como un rechazo al alto costo de la vida se transformó en un movimiento contra el régimen teocrático que gobierna desde la revolución de 1979 y que hoy enfrenta una de sus mayores crisis internas. La ONG Iran Human Rights reporta al menos 700
Yeah, it works. 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 So I understand this. Yes. So uh, we're gonna to check this code because it works, guys. It works. It works. It works. It works. It works. It works. So cheese, cheese, cheese.
Además, el Consejo Municipal de la Libertad de la provincia de Santa Elena dio de baja la resolución de venta del terreno
Yeah. What do we have to do? We are to put in the. We're gonna to submit the homework, and we're gonna to know if the if the homework it's okay or it's wrong. Yeah, yeah. So I have to create a folder. The folder, the name is the folder is to create a folder. The folder is they now. Okay. Okay. So I need setting up your code, this code space. Yeah. Okay. We final complete the task. So, as I said, I gonna to create a folder, but we are to create a folder. Watch, and this folder, we're to open it and then watch that pie. Yeah, and then Control V. Yeah, got it. So we have to CS50 space CS50 space CS50 space CS50 space. No, God, where is? Okay, this is okay. Okay, I got it. CS50. Yeah. Control C. Control V. Yeah.
Vínculos societarios lo conectan a personajes de jerarquía en el entorno del
Control C.
expresidente ecuatoriano Rafael Correa.
Yeah.
Detalla la investigación. Robalino es el
Yeah.
administrador único de la compañía Territorio Trading Group.
Yeah.
Asegura que
CS50.
sus portales oficiales. Ha hecho pública su
CS50.
participación en la explotación del campo Melones.
Check CS50. Check. Check 50. CS50. Problems. 2022.
Expresidente Rafael Correa ha dejado conocer que mantiene un equipo de asesores en Venezuela, formado, se sabe, por Patricio Rivera y Fausto Herrera, sus exministros.
CD watch. Okay, I have to change the direction. CD watch, I think. Yeah. And then gonna to put check 50. And we have to cross the fingers, guys, girls. Cross the fingers. Cross the fingers. So we have to. What the? No, that nothing works. Actual, no. Format the link from in frame with single. Well, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Uh, uh, what happened with that? I don't understand. Why? Why? Okay, which bikes is? Expected. Free. Cross.
¿Por qué lo digo? Porque se siguió un proceso. Se siguió un proceso. Y aquí ya existen denuncias. Aquí están los procesos que están en fiscalía. Vamos a ver. ¿A qué autoridad? ¿A qué autoridades se va a sancionar?
Let me try something. If we put this if iframe, no. What? Why none? I don't understand. Why none? Why none? Why none? Why none? Why none? I don't understand. Why none? Pattern. Pattern SRC. Okay, SRC plus W W. SRC. the key until S. Key until S plus. Yeah, let me maybe put this. No. Let me ask. Let me ask the. How could change my expression pattern are if I expected if I expect I frame like this. Mm. 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 But I don't want. Okay. Hmm.
Causándole una afectación a la economía criminal de estas bandas delincuenciales de 5.5 millones de dólares. Las Fuerzas Armadas se enfrentaron el fin de semana contra el grupo armado organizado Comandos de la Frontera, logrando abatir a uno de sus integrantes para la liberación de los personas.
The frame, as RC. De aquí hasta acá. Ok. De aquí hasta acá. ¿Qué significa esto? Okay. It doesn't. Could you did it doesn't work for this input? why.
Retiraron cámaras irregulares.
Hemos retirado aproximadamente 38 cámaras que han estado instaladas y colocadas de manera irregular, de manera clandestina. Inicialmente se realizó los operativos en el sector de Chilodayo, el sector de Turbama, Guamaní y los diferentes sectores.
Las cámaras decomisadas de varias marcas y modelos estaban instaladas en postes de luz y espacios públicos. En ocasiones son los mismos moradores de los barrios quienes las colocan allí, por seguridad. Pero las autoridades plantean otra hipótesis ante el panorama.
Gente afín a la delincuencia, que es el GDO, que lo hace para ellos poder monitorear cualquier tipo de actividad que tenga tanto la policía como las armadas, nos ayuda a la venta de narcotráfico, a la venta de vacunas, extorsiones, para alertar, darse la fuga e impedir así de esa manera que todos nosotros.
El ECU 911 recordó que es la única entidad autorizada para instalar cámaras de videovigilancia en espacios públicos y que cualquier privado que quiera hacerlo deberá coordinar e interoperar con la institución.
Entonces la gente tiene que realmente estar involucrada para los conflictos. O las personas que se crean en las cámaras se las van a devolver sin que no traigan la factura correspondida. Las personas tendrán 30 días para crear su cámara.
El ECU 911, en coordinación con el bloque de seguridad, ha ejecutado operativos de control y retirado cámaras irregulares también en Ambato, Babahoyo, Guayaquil y Tena. María Gracia Chacón, Teleamazonas.
Este martes más de 1.300 alojamientos fueron encontradas en una unidad educativa municipal del sur de México. Autoridades de la institución encontraron 4 fundas con huesos que serían humanos. La policía investiga la procedencia y si su uso era académico, por estas dos herramientas se encontraban irregulares. 3 cadáveres fueron encontrados por agentes de la línea C la tarde de este martes en la profunda
Okay, maybe watch this.
Santa Elena. Las investigaciones de los cuerpos corresponden a los 6 jóvenes desaparecidos el pasado 30 de enero que salieron de Cabo Uruguayas como tres
Sourcing.
para realizar actividades de pesca.
Got it.
Bien, contactos. Por cada 2 matrimonios hay una situación legal. Más de 50.000 matrimonios y 23.000 divorcios se registraron durante el 2025 en el país.
Así ha evolucionado la estadística de matrimonios en el país desde 1997 hasta la actualidad. En 1999, en el 2000 y entre el 2006 y 2011 fueron los años en los que más matrimonios se registraron en el país. La cifra superaba los 70.000 cada año según información del INE.
Okay, yeah. I think ChatGPT resolved this problem. I don't think I understand, so tomorrow I'm gonna to work in order to understand. Yes, it works for a part of code. Well, goodbye, friends. Maybe tomorrow we're gonna to complete the task. See ya tomorrow. Goodbye.